You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
Right, Chris.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good day, from wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having a lovely time. I am, of course, not Chris. I mean, the beard might be trying to hide him behind it, but I am the younger, better half of the LTID LTID TV hosts, and I'm rightly going to get a message from Chris probably telling me, Brad, you're sacked after making such an horrendous comment. This is LTID TV. This is the prediction show. New face hosting, same old show. You know the drill by now. How good does it feel to be back after some, for lack of a better word, paint drying international breaks? Ugh, well, the real deal is back now, isn't it? Then, speaking of real McCoy, it is the return of the Mac in the background. He is the master to the DJ discs that Chris uses on Surrey Hills Radio. It is our return of the wonderful Dave. He is in the background. So, different faces, same old shows. If you are joining us live, please make sure to give us a like on the video, first of all. Subscribe, of course, if you're new, and check us out on all your social media platforms. And of course, if you're watching on catch up, still get involved in the comment section below. And I hope you're enjoying the show. And if you do prefer to not see our ugly mugs, because I can totally appreciate why you'd not want to see this homeless looking Jesus look on your screens while you're probably chowing down for some dinner, then listening on the podcast platforms, they're all over the place, from Spotify to Apple iCloud or whatever they are, all your favorite brands of podcast platforms. And just make sure when you're lending us your ears, you clean them out before you give them back to us. I'm going to say a few hello to people in the comment section first, but before that, just in case you didn't hear what I said before, I bring in our very special guest who is going to return to the Predictions League, Dave. I'll bring him in after this video. He says if it wants to play. It doesn't want to play. So I'll bring in Dave now because the videos don't want to work. Chris goes away for
Subscribe to our YouTube channel now and make sure you never miss another upload.
Oh, we'll stop that. No, we'll stop that because it didn't want it to work the first time round. It chose the second time around. Dave, you are back. Not quite.
I am Bradley. How are you, on mate? I can call you Bradley, can't I, today? Hey, go on.
I'll let it go this once, Dave. I'll let it go this once. Just because it's you and it's your return. But next week, please, no, I will dock you points. I will give you the Man City punishment, whatever that shall be. Dave, you're back.
Do you want the bad news or the good news? I won't be here next week.
Oh, well, there you go. He's back for one night only, guys. Although we just chatted behind backstage, didn't you? We are bringing you back into the Predictions League. So you have that to look forward to.
I'm buggering off to Australia on Tuesday.
I
Not
know
with
you're going to
Chris.
find Chris, aren't you?
No,
You'll have
I
to
doubt
have a
it.
search for him.
He'll be left Perth, but then we can't have two of us in Perth at the same time. Luke couldn't handle that.
No, they will have to close down Australia if you two are in the same facility together. Thankfully, there's still miles and miles apart for you.
Oh yes.
Dave, Surrey Hill Radios is the place where they can hear your wonderful, wonderful voice. Tell the viewers more about the station.
Well, we're an internet station, exclusive, and we can do what we want when we want and how we want, and say what we want up to a certain degree of. As long as we don't tell lies about anybody, we can do what we want. So, hello, who's beat me? And it's wonderful music, any type of music, whatever you want. Perfect.
There you go. And by the
24
way,
hours
when
a
he
day.
says they can get away with pretty much anything, that's the only reason Chris works for them, isn't it, Dave? Because you can get away with pretty much everything. I think we all know Chris.
He does sometimes make me go, ooh. There are things that make you go, ooh. Chris.
It gives that little twinge to the ooh, doesn't
Yeah.
he? In what he
Ooh.
says.
Yeah.
And of course, Chris is away on his lovely jolly holidays. I hope
Yeah.
he's having a wonderful time in the land of Oz, and he's obviously being missed because Ben says, "Hey, Chris and Fox's fans, hope everyone having a nice day." And I have to keep you thinking, just because Chris isn't here doesn't mean I can't keep up with Chris's traditions. And as Ben noticed there, he's always fashionably late.
Yeah.
Now, for me, this time, it's me that gets to blame the co-host, Dave, and it say it's his fault, even if it was or wasn't. Because that's what Chris does, Dave. I have to lay
I
the blame
know.
on you, unfortunately.
I know.
Otherwise, the people watching will just feel so lost without Chris. Oh, lovely, Ben. Hi, hey, Brad, I guess. Oh, well, you can tell who's the favourite out of me and Chris.
Ben can't tell because you're both always late anyway. So,
Well, yeah, that's why we keep in tradition. That's why he asked me to
Yeah,
run it, mate. He knew I'd still be late.
But what you don't understand is that I had at 2 minutes to 7, I not only had to make sure I switched over from the radio to the guys doing 7 o'clock tonight, but I had to switch off the stuff here, reconnect it with another speaker, and put me earpiece in. Multitasking, mate.
There you go. Can you ask for much more than that?
Bloody
The man with it all.
Bloody impressive.
Very impressive, mate.
Could
You were
have
only a
gone
few
wrong.
minutes behind.
Could have gone totally wrong, but there you go.
Yeah, well, it might go totally wrong for you in the predictions league, so I'm sure you'll make up for it there, won't you?
Now, I said last year that we'll get in the Premier and I'll be brilliant at this. So.
Yeah, and then proceeded to not want to do the first 3 weeks because you threw your toys out the pram.
I did indeed. Well, I only had one toy, but it went a long way out the pram. Yeah,
it did. It certainly did. Hi to John, who's a part of the league in chat, and so is Anthony. Bradolina, well, you're going to feel very girlish after you see your state of play in the league predictions. Well, my country lost to England 2-0 by backstabbing players. Well, I know where you're from then without asking that question.
Can I ask you, Ben, what do you feel about the English manager not singing the national anthem because his bloody granny was Irish? I mean, what's all that about?
It's a bit silly, isn't it? I mean, why manage the club if you're going to be like that?
Jack Charlton learnt the Irish national anthem.
Oh, probably.
He couldn't sing. But just a thought.
I mean,
that was all.
Probably best that he didn't. I mean, no one would want to hear me sing the national anthem. I still say "God Save the Queen" because I forget there's a king.
I know. Did you? I did start to watch the game. What was the second game we played? The pointless Norway, was it? Was it Norway?
It's in my head. Finland, wasn't it? We played
Finland. I know it was somewhere up there. And what they've made a very serious mistake on is by putting a microphone near the players and going along. You can hear the players singing, and I'll tell you what, it was worse than me on a Friday night. I mean, they were awful. I'd rather them not sing at all for that reason. Not for patriotism, but it was awful. I know you wouldn't have heard it, but oh god! And then I got bored and switched off.
Yeah, I know. Some people who know me very well will know that I do not care unless it's a tournament. What England do, because it's either a pointless friendly or a pointless qualification or it's a glorified friendly in the Nations League case. But hey ho. Wayne, hello Wayne. He says,
Hi, Wayne.
Brad and Dave, get you lads. Howdy, Wayne. Hello, Jess. Lovely to see you in the chat. Good to see you. As always, a lovely little blue fox's heart in there as well. She's the prediction queen. Actually, we have a little backwards and forwards, only about Leicester games, but she is very inept, very apt, should I say, at picking our score line. Unfortunately, we do it about 20 minutes before kickoff, so I can't add it as my predictions for hers. But of course, Jess and everybody else, if you want to get your predictions in as we go along in the comment section below, make sure you are joining in. It makes
I
it.
think I know Jess. She Leicester fan, yeah? Of course
She
is.
certainly is.
And
She's
shouldn't she be sending me some predictions to help me out? Because I am rubbish at it.
well, no. See, favoritism, mate. Here, I'm sorry. I'm just playing the favoritism card. If she's going to help anyone out, it's probably still not going to be me either. To be honest with you, if she was involved in it all, she'd probably be trying to make sure she could beat me, just so she could hold that over me. In fact,
Good
to be
point.
fair, it's not difficult, Jess or Ben or any of you that want to get involved in the chat to beat me, beat either of us at the moment. Dave's not even got a point on the board because he's only just joining, and I'm not doing very well. Who's doing the naff jokes today then? We're going to share them. We're going to share the love. We're both
I think
going
Chris still is. Chris still is probably somewhere, isn't he? He's probably asleep in Australia, still doing jokes.
Possibly. He's probably bored. He's probably bored poor Luke to tears. Luke's probably wanting to emigrate back to England.
Luke's got to go to work tomorrow. Oh no, it's Saturday, isn't it?
Well, I hope Kyle here is being kind to you here, but he's called you a hoe apparently. Ho Dave, no Chris tonight. I'm sure that's a typo.
I think I'm having a hoe down tomorrow.
Oh, there you go then. Well, let's hope he's being polite and that's just a typo. I can't speak. I make a load of typos. No, I'm half English. I don't care really, to be honest. But I do like how they said they loved our country and then left. Yeah, it is very difficult. The international ones. I just
they love their club and go, don't they? I mean, Madison, all that lot, name them all. The badge and all this, and then they piss off for a bigger salary. So
exactly. Well, Wesley. Well, I don't call him his proper name. I call him Flop Farner, or the French Voldemort. I call him. He's connected his undying love to another club that he's always wanted to play for. So yeah. Anthony says, "How come I do predictions on different shows? My predictions are all really different." Thoughts? Probably because you can't make up your mind. I mean, you say you support Arsenal, but then you support any team that plays in red or 50% red or has a red badge or anything, Anthony. Your guess is as good as mine, mate, as to how you're getting this so wrong on every other show. If you play for the youth team and play friendlies for the adult team, then you should play for the international team.
No, I agree, Ben. Yeah, that was his name, wasn't it? Arsenal guy.
The biggest argument that England fans can make for that, Ryan Giggs played for England, didn't he, before he chose to go for Wales? And you are safe, Dave. He wasn't calling you a hoe. He did mean to say hi.
So there's a hi ho.
There's a hi ho.
Yeah.
Well, if I do this for the camera, it makes me look taller, so you might look like a dwarf from the surface.
I'm glad you did that, because I thought you had a Leeds shirt on.
Oh no, God no! I wouldn't disgrace this channel with that. I've got a classic roll back the year shirt.
Yeah. Predictor
I remember that. Do you remember? Is it Birder was the sponsor there?
That was for about a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think we used to have the likes of Bruno Berner and that playing for us.
Yeah.
Wayne says, I'll watch on catch up as desperately need input for my shocking fantasy league team. Have a great weekend all. And he's gone 2-1 to City. Yeah, no worries, mate. Just make sure you do catch up. I'm sure you will. But before we get into it, now Chris doesn't like this. I update the league table via our Facebook Messenger chat, so I can write it all down and keep it all in stock for I need it. And normally Chris, what he does is, why I try and distract you all whilst my mouse doesn't want to work, is Chris normally does a lovely
do you want me to tell a joke?
a lovely graphic work. Well, a lovely show as well. He's normally more organised than I am. Unfortunately, I don't have the same access to the same things as Chris, and I don't do such a lovely as job as Chris in doing our graphics work. So
The
if you're
thought
ready to
that
see
counts.
how, yeah, well, this is definitely a thought that counts moment.
Yeah.
Let's
What
see
more
how
do you want?
everybody's done from group game week 3, because it's been a week and a bit since we've been able to update these. And here is the table. And
Good
for that
night.
one, for that person at the
Ooh,
bottom,
who's that?
I
I can't see
I
me
am
at the bottom.
well, you're not on there, Dave. I haven't had time to edit you in live on
Chris,
the
it's
show.
Chris at the bottom.
Well, not quite. I'm tempted to keep it there so he thinks he's bottom, but on a technicality of having one correct result. So for those of you that maybe don't know how this is lined up, the total points they've got are obviously the higher numbers. The ones on the right hand side, they are the total points they've earned, and the ones on the left are the amount of correct results they've got. So you get 3 points for a correct result, and obviously a point for each outcome you get right. So, for example, a high scoring one tonight, the highest scoring 3-pointer from game week 3 was actually Man City 3, West Ham 1, scored lots of people 3 points. But if someone went 4-0 to Man City, they would have got a point, but that's all they'd have got. It's close though, Dave. See, you might be coming in late on until game week 4, but not a million miles away from well, myself in 13th and everybody else in 17th or higher. To be fair, actually, you can easily catch up. There's been some
Well,
shakers in this league.
Luke's punching above his weight, isn't he? Really?
Yes, although if my calculations are right, as he says, I've already got the glasses on, so I don't need to do that nerdy look. My calculations are right. Luke had probably one of his worst weeks. He has had a fall from grace. He was sat in second in the league table, so he's dropped 5 places because he only scored, I believe, 4 points last week. So it can change very, very easily, as we are seeing there. So there's your league table. I can't remember what I'm doing with my life, which is just a normal, regular occurrence. It's got nothing to do with running the show. But Dave, we don't have the graphics. We are going to have to go through these one by one. So if
you did them so easily last time, didn't you?
oh yeah, I was so good at it, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Carl says Chris has probably gone to bed and forgot to do a live. Probably, mate, knowing Chris. He is in Australia. I don't know if it's 3 in the afternoon or 3 in the morning there. But let's crack on with the predictions, Dave. Let's get your first set of predictions in and underway. And don't worry, guys, just because he's not here, he has messaged me for the next several weeks his predictions in advance. So, if fear of copying homework, you cannot do so. Chris, the first game. You're not Chris, you're Dave. It's all right. It's
I'm
live.
Dave, yeah. Or Harry or whatever.
First game on the fixture list: Southampton versus Manchester United. It's a really difficult game. This, you'd imagine, Dave. The underdogs. They've got to go to Southampton and try and get a win from it. Can you see Manchester United overcoming the odds of beating Southampton, Dave? I say in jest. Southampton obviously not having a brilliant start. In fact, saying that is quite underwhelming. Not off the board in terms of points yet for Southampton. Manchester United just doing Manchester United things. Dave, do you see any glimmer of hope for Southampton in this, or is this just one of them inevitabilities that Manchester United somehow do enough to get 3 points?
Well, on our cricket club fancy, I've got it down as a draw. But I think that's probably a bit optimistic for Southampton. I don't know. I really don't know. 0-1.
Well, you know what? If there's one thing that Dave thought it was decisive, and now he's not so sure. We've had this before. It's a classic Dave. He darts all around it and then never gives a.
It could be Southampton's. I mean, when you play Man United at home, you got a chance of putting your season in gear.
Well,
so it could be one of those moments, but I hope not. So I'm going for 0-1.
Well, you go on 1-0 Manchester United.
Probably
You're not
shouldn't.
alone in going for a Manchester United win. However, as you said, Dave, it can kickstart your season. And I would say it's still up there for me as one of the most memorable games I have ever seen at the King Power. Well, I say see, I was working for the King Power. The first
Yeah.
game, in our first season back, Dave, we was 3-1 down at one point and won the game 5-3. So it's not
Yeah.
out of realms of possibility for Manchester United to bottle it and give Southampton 3 points.
Yeah.
Having said that,
You've
I've
gone.
gone. Having said all that, I have gone Southampton 0, Manchester United 4.
Oof.
And Chris has gone for 4 goals, but he has gone He's gone Southampton 1. So can you guess where the other 3 are going?
I can probably.
Southampton 1, Manchester United 3. So it's a full house for wins. People in the comment section have also joined us in that. Anthony has gone 2-1 to Manchester United. Kyle has gone 2-0 to Manchester United. Evening Scott, he says evening all. John, who will be delighted because John and Chris accuse each other of copying each other's homework. Well, safe to say, John, Chris has given me his in advance, so if you do, it's by sheer dumb luck that you've copied his homework, but you haven't. You've avoided the mishap. He's gone 2-0 to Manchester United. Ben says it here, if United lose, their first manager to be sacked at the weekend. He's going for a 2-2 draw. Another Chris special. We actually do, Dave. I don't know if you've been watching the previous shows. I'll try and hide the predictions that you guys can see. But we do have it. Can I angle the camera? I don't know if you can see that there. Chris goes 2-2. Now, currently he has 3. So 1 for each game week. Although last week was the shock horror. He never went 2-2. But we've got a 2-2 counter for Chris. And Ben's tried to kick the magic off early by predicting 2-2.
But you know, Man United have only scored 2 goals all season. Okay, so
well, maybe it's an omen. If Southampton can get 2 goals, maybe it's a 2-2 written in the stars. And of course, typically for Chris, he would be kicking himself if that happened now.
Southampton scored this year. They might have sneaked one somewhere, mightn't they? Was it a home game? They
possibly.
They haven't got any points, so.
Well, that's very true. That's very that they definitely have. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Russell Martin. I nearly called him Ricky Martin, and that would be a compliment. I'm not a fan of Russell Martin. I think Southampton fans are kind of losing patience with him, and were at the back end of the season anyway. And we as Leicester fans, we don't really. Not that we don't care what other teams are doing. Obviously, this season, I can imagine we're going to care a lot about Southampton.
Yeah,
for kind of similar reasons. Yeah, for kind of similar reasons we were last season. We're going to be fighting them. But in this terms, we're going to be fighting them to stay above water and stay in the Premier League.
I'm not so sure, mate. I think what I've seen. Oh, hello.
I'm just turning some light on. I'm getting some lighting because I forget now. We're into autumny winter, and
I know.
about 20 minutes, you're not going to be able to see me, which might improve the viewing ratings, but still.
All the leaves are brown.
There we go.
Look at me
now. You can see all my face and all its glory. Sorry, I'll take my camera off, guys. Sorry.
You look good in yellow.
I know. It suits me, doesn't it? It does suit me.
I think we'll be all right this year, especially with this bonus of screwing the Premier League. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think it's definitely got to Anthony. I'm sorry, mate. Whoever's telling you this, they're lying to you badly. Really.
More like Dean Martin, isn't it?
Oh wow! I was going to say.
Actually, I
was going to say more like
Bob Martin.
Some form of Martin. You know what? Just for you, I'm going to keep the glow on me. Because I'm
Doc Martin
with my hair. I'm worth it.
I'm worth it. Oh,
this show is not sponsored, and it won't get sponsored with me advertising it like that.
You'll get told off if we don't stay on topic.
Oh yeah, yes, we have to stay on the group topic, don't we?
Or we could talk
Yeah,
about
for me,
chocolate biscuits and things.
for me, don't start the biscuit row again. For me, Dave, I don't know if you heard it at the time, look, I know it was always going to be a very hard ask for Southampton, but they played a couple of games before they played us at the back end of the season, and I think they played Preston and then they played Cardiff. And if they'd have won both them games, they'd have still had an outside chance of automatic promotion,
Yeah.
albeit they probably still would have had to have beaten us. And I think they beat Preston, but then lost or drew with Cardiff. Regardless, it
Oh
made
yeah.
their
Yeah.
task even harder. They 100% then had to have beat Leicester to still sort of chance.
Yeah.
And whilst maybe okay as a fan, you'd look at it and go, probably not going to happen. Hearing their manager come out and basically, when he was asked the question if the automatic race was over, the words out of his mouth to some degree, Dave, were, "Oh, well, there's two ways to get promoted." I don't think a fan or a player of that club wants to hear that from their manager. It's
No.
defeatist, no matter how outside of a chance it is. You want to still remain positive.
Yeah.
That you can still somehow sneak in. Well, I think we do, Kyle. I think even if we just stay up and showcase the fact that we beat the PSR rules, PSR champions, you'll never sing that. Well, unless Man City win all their charges. But that's a
Well, they
long way.
will, won't they? I mean, Pep says, "Bring it on."
Well, of course he does, because at the end of the day, whatever happens, he's going to get a massive payout and go
Yeah.
elsewhere if it won't
Yeah.
affect him. Talk about players and loyalty. It doesn't go anywhere. See,
No.
I knew if we talked long enough, we'd be able to get another one in. Craig's gone 2-0 Manchester United. How you doing, Craig? Hope you are well. Having said all that, Craig, we haven't. Craig, you're not Craig. I've called you Chris, Craig, and now I'm going to call you Christ alike
Look,
because your name's Dave.
call me Susan if it makes you happy.
All right, well, Susan, Brighton take on Ipswich. The Tractor Boys found a very good result. They dug up their first point of the season. Very good result against
Yeah.
Fulham. They've had by far the toughest start to the season.
Well,
And
yeah.
people might say Wolves. Well, they've not been in the Premiership for a long time. They've propelled from League One to the Premier League when they were most people's favourites to struggle. They've got more points than Southampton at this stage, which I don't think anybody saw them having it. They've already taken on Liverpool, and Man City, who look like they're going to be in an early doors title race, at least until March, when Man City potentially get docked astronomical amounts of points if the journalists are to
Well,
believe.
they're already starting the rubbish, aren't they, about it could get them relegated? That's not going to happen. You're not going to
Well,
relegate one of the alleged big six because of something that Man City could come back and destroy you with.
well, maybe Man City will hire our lawyer. He'll find a loophole for you.
I
But
bet
no,
he's got
on a serious
level.
note,
Serious
though,
note, I
Dave.
think Brighton will beat them 3-1.
Oh, he went straight for serious. He didn't even give me a chance to talk
No
about
messing.
Brighton, who,
It's a
to be fair,
no-brainer.
so far with their manager, are making me eat my own words, because I thought he would struggle. I thought this was more one of them cut the corners, if you will. They Deserby done well for them. Established manager. This guy's new to football. He's only 31,
Yeah,
making me feel old. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
brilliant.
I thought he was more of a market sale, if you will, to kind of wow factor. But he's doing really well at Brighton. You've gone 3-1 Brighton,
Yeah,
and
I think
unfortunately,
Brighton will be pushing Champions League this year, which is bizarre,
well,
isn't it? Well, with
well,
Leicester
it
did it,
is.
so why not? Why not?
Well, you never know. I mean, people
Mm.
didn't think Villa could have held it last season, but they did. And Brighton have always been there and thereabouts, and they've shown they can hold their own in Europe. I don't know if they'll get Champions League football, but I do think Europa League is a very strong
Oh
possibility
yeah,
for them.
yeah, definitely.
I have gone 2-1 Brighton. And I'm very thankful for that because Chris has gone 2-0 Brighton. So we all know that it's not going to end 2-0 because Chris has predicted it. Kyle's gone 3-1 to Brighton. John,
Nice one, Carl.
yeah, I like John. You see, John sees sense. He knows the drill. He's gone 2-1 to Brighton as well. Anthony will do anything to Brownlow's a boss, won't he? Look at that 2-0 Brighton. A good game. Ben's going for a draw, and I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. You saw the effort Ipswich put in the first half against Liverpool, then disgraced themselves against Man City. They've got a chance, so don't rule that one out. Craig,
I do wonder if it's a draw, whether it'd be a big draw.
Possibly, because they do look like a side that they're going to have to, and it sounds stupid saying it, I feel like Michael Owen saying this, they're going to probably have to score a lot of goals and outscore their oppositions to get any sort of points this season.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah.
See how I made it so it wasn't just outscoring to win. I said points, so I'm not completely Michael Owen things.
No, you're not. Not quite.
Craig's gone 3-0 Brighton. Anthony says I look good in yellow. Yeah, only this yellow though, not that disgusting Arsenal throw up yellow. Don't worry, Anthony. Don't get too excited, mate. And Easy's gone 2-1 Brighton as well. Now then, Dave, you're so eager to give me your Brighton prediction.
I am. Who we got next?
Next, well, on the list.
We're not going to do that. Fulham.
Dave. Dave already knows this. So it says on my notes, Leicester City are away to Crystal Palace. But if you guys think an LTID TV, a Leicester City born channel, is going to get that one out of the way and have you all disappear on us or not keep you on hooks, yeah, well, you silly billies. Of course, we're not going to talk about that game. We are going to skip to the next team, and that is Fulham versus West Ham. Battle of the Hams. Yes, I've been thinking of that joke since I wrote the fixtures about 4 o'clock this afternoon. No, I don't have any regrets, despite how terrible it might sound. Look, Fulham, decent side, have built themselves very well. Marcus Silva's a good man. I still think they've had one of the coups of the transfer windows if they keep him fit in Emil Smith-Rowe from Arsenal. West Ham have, for anything Chelsea can do, we can do better. They've signed 1,000,001 players. My dad, who is a Wolves fan, not too happy who they've hired as manager. I still think Moyes was treated unfairly there. Having said that, though, Dave, before you tell me your predictions, and I wish I could change mine now because I've just seen Anthony's prediction for this one, but I can't because I've written it. It's in stone. I've gone for a draw. I still feel like both these teams are slowly getting started, and West Ham, once they gel with the squad they've brought and they've got, good chance that they'll do well this season. Where do you see this one going?
Yeah, I think it's a Desmond, to be honest, because
we need a Dave counter, and I need a button to press. I need Chris to install, one of them firework buttons when someone says 2-2, so I can
West
get.
Ham are an unpredictable side. Fulham are okay, but they're both unpredictable. So again, who's going to turn up? But I think 2-2's fair.
You've gone 2-2, and you know what I've gone and done? I've gone and written it in the wrong box. So tomorrow, so I know to switch it. In fact, send me a message to remind me that Fulham Leicester, the Palace Leicester. Shut up, Brad. The Palace Leicester and the Fulham West Ham game on yours are the other way around. I'll put an arrow to remind me to switch them, which usually works. But just in case I try and cheat you out of any points, people can't say
I could predict the same score for Palace.
I mean, you might do. Then I can get rid of the arrow. That'd be brilliant.
Well, I'd save you the arrow. Yeah.
Yeah. You've gone for a Desmond. Chris has gone for a 2-1 win to West Ham. And people in the comments, I'm going to skip over some comments because they've gone for the Leicester game. Anthony, you can change your mind, Dave. He's gone 2-2. It's up to you.
I'm happy with that one.
Ben's gone 3-1 West Ham. Fulham 1-1, says Anthony. I do love it when people put it like that because I know they mean the Fulham game 1-1, but I feel like, well, Fulham can't just get the only point. This is funny. John First one on the board that I've seen, or no, not the only one, though, John. He's gone 2-1 Fulham. Easy game has gone 3-1 Fulham. Kyle, smart man is that Carl. He's gone for a 1-1 draw like I have. And so has Craig. So the popular pick is a 1-1 draw between Fulham and West Ham.
Yeah, it's reasonable. Yeah.
Now then, two teams that are probably disliked in big amounts. Liverpool mainly hated by Manchester United fans and Evertonians, and they are at home to the Tree Huggers. Oh, sorry. Their official name is Notts Forest. Liverpool at home to Notts Forest.
Ooh.
I mean, Arnie Slot only been allowed to make one signing, but that old expression, as I drop my pen, that old expression, don't fix what is not broke. Jesus, I cannot speak today. You know, so is he just working wonders with what Klopp
Well,
left him? Is this a
Salah seems.
potential
Yeah.
Ranieri Pearson scenario from? Because they're doing really well. Overcame Manchester United before the international break. Perfect opportunity to keep the ball rolling and through.
Yeah.
For
And
Liverpool,
Salah's doing
Dave.
pretty well, isn't he? Salah's doing pretty well.
The
He
Egyptian
seems to
king
be.
looks back.
Yeah,
Looks
like his
more
hair.
upright on his throne.
Yeah. I think it'd be a 4-0.
Dave has gone big. He's gone Liverpool for the Tree Huggers 0. Unfortunately for me and Chris have both agreed. Fortunately for you, we've both not gone 4-0. We have gone 3-0 to Liverpool. Anthony has gone 3-1. This must have been difficult for you, Anthony, to pick a winner on here because, of course, they both play in red. Craig's agreed with you. He's gone 4-0 to Liverpool as well. John's gone 3-1. So some people give him Forest at least a goal, which is more respect than I'd give them. Ben has gone 4-1 to Liverpool. So he thinks even though Forest will score, it will still be by a big margin. Well, Dave, now we've got that band-aid out of the way and ripped it off and Liverpool the easy one. Is FFP City Manchester City at home for Brentford. Premier League side for now, Manchester City. If reports are be to believe, they could get anything between 60 and 100 points deduction. I'd imagine an easy game in. Better
Yeah,
late than
right.
never slides in with a late prediction for Liverpool 2, Forest 0. We know you do, Anthony. Trust me, we know you do. We've seen your predictions and biasness towards it. But Man City, still a Premier League team, still have Haaland, still have Pep. Will they in the new year? Who else knows?
Yeah.
But they're playing Brentford, who surprisingly, Dave, haven't really suffered so much, have they? They obviously eventually lost Ivan Toney, which
Yeah.
they kind of knew anyway from the start of the season. He hasn't played for them since all the transfer talk started. So no results on the pitch were impacted. Normally, when a player does this, though, Dave, I don't know if you probably remember it. I don't know if everybody in the comments section will, but do you remember when Berbatov, I think, was at Tottenham and
Yeah.
he wanted to move to Manchester United? It really upset the apple cart. And I
Yeah.
can't remember who was in charge. I want to say it was Ramos was in charge at Tottenham at the point, and he benched him. He wouldn't play him. He never picked him. And actually, it was so detrimental to Tottenham's start of that season. They were bottom for the first few games of the season. Once he moved and the dust settled, things obviously got better for Tottenham.
Yeah.
But that hasn't really happened at Brentford, have they? They've done quite well. They've got off to a decent start. I don't know if he is still injured, but their replacement for Tony got injured after the first game week. I don't think it was a big injury, so he might be back now after the international had time to recover. Are Brentford? They've had a few sneaky results against the likes of the Chelseas and Man
Well,
City before. Are
yeah.
they the one to kind of your dark horse, if you will, your Belgium of the Football League, if you will? The dark horse that everybody thinks, well, keep an eye on them. They might do something. They are away at Man City. Is there any way they get a result from this?
Well, they've done it before. They've done it before, as you say. But no, I think they'll lose 4-1.
Oh, Dave, you've
Yeah,
gone for a 4-1. He's
I
gone for a
think so. I
4-1.
think because of this fine thing, that's the hearing that's starting Monday. I think that will just give Man City a little bit extra in a bizarre sort of way, and I think that'll spur them on. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 5. I'll put that down first, but thought that's probably a bit
And
too.
again, as decisive of a last minute Dave changed his
Who
mind.
knows? Who knows? That last minute penalty, the slip. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be
Well,
4-1 Brentford. I think Brentford will score, but
you've got more faith in them than I have on scoring. I've gone 2-0 to Brentford. Chris has gone 3-1 to Brentford. So we've both been a little bit kinder to
yeah,
Brentford as it is. Easy game in, Haaland hat trick. I mean, that guy's just a cheat code in football, isn't it? It's ridiculous. I
right.
mean, Shearer was worried about Harry Kane breaking his record. I mean, Erling Haaland's going to break his goal scoring record by mid-November, isn't he? At this rate, the way the guy's going, he's gone 4-0 Man City. I mean, maybe they should rename themselves Haaland City and just try and see if that works for them.
Haaland
John's
Athletic. That's a good one.
Haaland Athletic. I like that one,
Yeah,
Dave. I like that
yeah,
one. Haaland Madrid. Does that work? Maybe we'll
and
see.
maybe not.
Uh,
They might have to change their name at this rate.
yeah, to FFP. Man City 3, Brentford 0's gone John. Everybody pretty much going from Manchester City. And this is the thing, it's getting so beyond a joke at how easy it is to predict Man City that very rarely do you see people going against them. Ben's gone 3-0. Craig's gone Manchester City 4-1. And says people in the comments who will get more points this week. Brad or Dave, cast your votes. Here's an idea, Anthony. I don't know if you saw the league table earlier. Scroll back in the video and go and double check it. See who will get more points out of me and you, because for the third week running, mate, it's still me ahead of you in the table. So
There's
how about
quite a
you
few.
worry about your own points that you're not getting before you worry about Dave, who could probably overtake you in 1 week, Anthony? I'm just saying. He did go 3-0 Manchester City. John does say that the cheat bot is a doubt for City. That just means he might not score 3 goals, though, Dave, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think he's always a doubt, and and then he plays.
Yeah.
That's
They
just
just got
part
to
of the
make sure they get
fun.
the right parts ordered and fix the machine.
Yeah.
What's his comment here? Ben says, Holland says he wants to retire young, apparently, so he can go back home, buy a house, lad, and be a farmer, if that's true. I mean, he might have to if he doesn't bother. If Man City get found guilty, he might be able to do that. I'm sure he might decide to go and spend a year in Saudi Arabia. I'm sure they'll be willing to pay him £500 million an hour
Half a
in there.
trillion. Yeah.
1
That's
point,
horrendous.
10 points. Guess what? It's like winning 1-0, 6-0. It all equates to the same, mate. Still 1 more point better than you. John says, Dave, has my vote? He needs the points. I
Thanks,
mean,
John.
very tactful of you, John. Very well said. And to be honest with you, you've seen how I say how bad I've been doing. But we'll see. We'll see. You keep an eye on the points and notice if he does do better than me, because I'll still stay ahead of him no matter what, unless I have a shocker and he has a blinder. Who knows? He could actually catch me up. Speaking of teams that are having a shocker, Everton are playing Aston Villa. How ironic, isn't it, that these two are playing each other after what happened to Everton in their last game? Aston Villa, Champions League side. Remember when we got promoted, when we went on the charge for our title, Dave, we were 2-0 down to Aston Villa. Their fans were practically singing they'd won the game after about 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Remind me, what was the full-time score in that game, Chris? Dave, Steve, Bob, Charles, whatever you want to be called. Suze.
Susan's fine. Well, I think didn't we sneak one at the end or something like that? Or,
Oh, I think we snuck
was that the
2-3, didn't we?
Yeah, that was what's his name on loan from Swansea? Who got
Dyer. The Swansea
Dyer
man.
got knocked out getting the winner.
Yeah. And now I don't know.
Fun.
Now, James isn't in today, and he's probably still fuming over it. The international break's probably helped him seethe over it more than kind of wanting to play a game. But Everton fans were leaving the ground in smiles after 83 and a half minutes, weren't they? What was the full time score of that? I'm sure because I went Bournemouth through 2-1. There's no way point for that, is there? Oh,
No.
wait, I did because Bournemouth made a 7.5 minute comeback and won the game 3-2.
I mean, that is well, that's like us and Tottenham, isn't it, that year?
Yeah,
Very stupid loss at home to Tottenham.
Yes, it was.
But Everton are really, I mean, to pick themselves up from that, you need about 10 Sean Dykes because even though they've had a break, that would make it worse. And I
Yeah,
can't
it
see.
lingers, doesn't it?
I mean, we're only 3 games in, but you think, how can you recover from doing that? Because in the back of your mind, you remember Leicester and it wasn't Brian Little, was it? Was it Mickey Adams? And we did things like being 3-0 up at Wolves and lost 4-3. That was on his
Yep.
birthday as well. I remember that. That was on his birthday.
Talk about doing a proverbial on your own cornflake breakfast cornflake. I mean,
and many times once you do it, 89th minute. You remember some of the Leicester games where we're giving away late goals all the time, and it got to the 89th, 90th minute, and everyone started to panic. The fans, the players, it grows in you, it gets in your mind. So I don't think Everton can. They have to work hard to get out of that, and for that reason, I think Villa will stick about 3 or 4 past them.
Well, which one were you going for 3 or are you going for 4? Which way are we going, Dave?
I've got too many 4s. I'll get 3. 3. Will Everton score? Yeah, 3-1.
Well, again, if nothing but indecisive, you've gone 3-1 to Aston Villa. Me and Chris have annoyingly agreed on the same scoreline. So, and I didn't read Chris's predictions until I'd filled mine in, hoping it would work in my favour. Maybe next week I'll take note of what he's done, so I can't match up so many.
So you're saying that Chris is good at this, though, but is he?
No, he's not. He's not. This is why I'm worried that I'm predicting so many the same as him. This is the worrying part. We've both gone 2-0 to Aston Villa, and like you said, Dave, it happened to us with Wolves. We never really recovered from that.
No,
and when we did find some form, it was too little, too late, wasn't it? In terms of us finding form. Villa, the game we just talked about, they never recovered. And I still say to this day, yes, you might say Man City 3-1, that was the game we all started to believe would win the title. But if you look at a game that you say, what game defines your season? For me, it was that game for both clubs, funny enough, because that was a game that when the dust settled and a full-time whistle went, Leicester went away into the changing room thinking, we're never going to get beat. There's no out there that we've never lost. We're never going. Not that we're never going to lose a game, but a game's never lost. And Villa, subsequently went into their dressing room going, a game's never safe. And they just never ever recovered from it. And we obviously went higher and higher and higher.
We had a couple of moments like that, didn't we? Was it West Ham? Leonardo stuck the equaliser in the last
near
second.
the end, where John Moss tried. John Moss show that game.
Oh, he was a nightmare, wasn't he? And that was like a win. And I think then you thought we ain't going to get beat.
Exactly.
This is it now. It's all done.
I mean, I can't remember the last time, Dave, that we went to Old Trafford and went 1-0 down and thought we can still get something out of it. And we did the Wes Morgan goal. We found a way to get back into the game, and that's just how it felt. And Villa, again, like I said, opposite as it is, they'd be 1-0 up in the game, and then it almost becomes a thing when you have that sort of result happen to you, where you go 1-0 up and you shit yourself because you think, oh god, now we've got to hold on to this. Now we need this win, and you panic and you make mistakes, and then the next thing you 2-1 down, and then it all goes wrong.
We used to notice that Leicester, we went 1 up, and then we'd play 10 men behind the ball.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were never going to score 2, but
No.
we just and we knew by 85 minutes onwards we were going to let one in at least,
Yeah. And do you
and
know what?
nobody could see it.
You know what's very interesting? And I only came across the video. I don't know how long it's been up for. Can't have been too long. But in terms of a couple of seasons ago, obviously we suffered the relegation. You know the goalkeeper Ben Foster. For those of you that don't know, Ben Foster, goalkeeper, Manchester United, West Brom, Watford,
Yeah.
very long-serving goalkeeper. But he has his own podcast. It's called the Cycling GK podcast. Very infamous for having the GoPro in the goal when he was at Watford in the Championship. But he's recently had an interview with Mark Albrighton and asked about how he asked Mark Albrighton the question how that Leicester side got relegated. Stay with us for predictions, but I would recommend going and check it out because it was an interesting viewing to go on to that, and it explains how teams can fall apart. Because Villa didn't have a bad side, did they? They had Lescott,
No.
Mika Richard, Scuzan, they had a good squad. Anyway, back to the task in hand. Villa versus Everton. Surprise, surprise, as Cilla Black would say. Not many people giving Everton much hope. Ben's gone 3-1 Villa. Anthony's gone 4-1 to Villa. Craig's gone 3-1 Villa. Some of you are just the only hope you're giving Everton is they're going to score. John's gone 2-1 Villa, being a bit nice. And he does say here that was the game we obviously won 3-2. I double click that. Easy has gone easy for Villa. He's gone 3-0 Aston Villa. And Ben concurs it was Adams in charge. It wasn't actually a bad manager. I just think once he realised he would a bit like God rest himself. God rest his soul, because I cannot speak tonight. Craig Shakespeare. I think when we went back down from the Premier League, I think he realised he'd had his limitations. He couldn't do it a second time around, just because the way the squad was tore apart after the relegation. No Matt Elliott, no Muzzy Is It, no Taggart. We didn't have anybody there that was able or stuck around to try and get us back up at the first attempt. And well, the Craig Levine era, the less said about that, the better. Easy game in there says, I don't like Chelsea, but I love that little Belgian.
Got the chocolate.
Oh, Hazard. I think he's on about. I'm assuming talking about the title one of the season.
Well, we love him.
Yeah, my favorite Belgian in that whoever played for Chelsea whenever he did.
And what was just as great was that Chelsea celebrated like they'd won it.
So the fans took banners around the stadium saying "Win it for Ranieri." He obviously held a lot of love for Ranieri up until Mourinho came in. Obviously, he had them finish the highest they'd finished in a hell of a long time, second in the league.
They did good.
Obviously, second time's a charm when he came to manage another team in blue in the Premier League with Leicester. It was a great occasion all round. And speaking of Chelsea, they are stuttering. They are learning what we slowly learn about Brendan Rodgers from Liverpool fans, but without the success of what we got under Enzo as Leicester fans. He is not winning over the fan base. There is rumored turmoil within the ownership. They want to buy each other out. They're playing this football thing like it's a game of Monopoly. They're landing on everything and wanting to buy it and wondering why it's not winning them anything. I know it's not their name, and apologies to any fans of this team. But when you're losing, when you're going through by the skin of your teeth against a team that's called Serviette in your qualifier, it's not looking good. I mean, they had that one big win against Wolves, which was a complete shock on the cards, if you ask me.
Well, that's the only one that's given them the goals, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
Have they scored any more since then? Probably one.
No, well, they drew with Palace 1-1 at
that's the only the goal.
And again, that's a side that have been, could have easily got distracted by all the transfer actions they've had.
Well, I mean, it can't be happy. Can't be happy because you've got players who were first team regulars. Now,
Well, 97 first team regulars that were
well,
signed on an 86-year contract being told they'd play every week, which is
uh,
physically impossible.
apparently Chilwell's back in the fold, but whether he'll get in any of the squads, I don't know.
Probably not. Maybe the under 21 squad. I don't know. However, Chelsea's away day sickness has a chance to catch up with them. They are going to Bournemouth,
And
another
Bournemouth
team.
are going to win 2-1.
Wow. If I could finish a sentence, that'd be great, Dave.
That's
You're
right,
going
mate.
2-1 Bournemouth.
I am indeed.
Oh, well, you know what? Normally I'd go, really? Wow. I'd do it, Chris. But I must admit, this Chelsea side have had their issues, and it feels like they are trying to paper over cracks, the same way a certain Manchester side are, by throwing more money at the problem. And shock horror, it is not working.
Chelsea remind me of a Leeds side back in the day when they were starting to go down, when they were throwing money everywhere. They were buying players they couldn't afford. They were desperate to stay in the European Cup as it was, and it all
Yeah,
went wrong. Chelsea are like that. The two shareholders are going to argue with each other. They can't work together, but nobody wants to sell up. I mean, it's crazy.
it is. I mean, you're talking about Leeds United, weren't they? Weren't they apparently the self-proclaimed biggest team in the Championship
Well,
last
they
season?
were. Oh yeah, didn't they
Right.
come up? When are we playing them? I can't
No,
see.
no, sorry, Dave. Let me just look. I've just got all the fixtures here.
Must be here
Bournemouth,
somewhere.
Chelsea, no. Spurs, Arsenal, no. It's a London
No,
derby, but it doesn't have a Leeds in it. Wolves do. I can't see it. I don't
no.
know. Maybe they've just maybe they just don't want to play in this league. I don't
Mm,
know. But you've
mm.
gone for Bournemouth, Chelsea.
Yep.
They have beaten Chelsea before at Stamford Bridge, so it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Chris, well, I'm going to say it, Chris. You've pissed me off here. You've pissed me off because you've gone for your first draw of the whole entire fixtures, and he's gone for a 1-1.
No.
Shameful behaviour. No, shameful behaviour. He had the chance to go for a Desmond and really
It's
make
all.
my day, and instead
So
he
I'm,
disappointed me.
I'm one up on him then, on Desmond's.
Well, for now you are. Let's just say that much. You are
It's
for now.
not gonna last long, is it? Though.
Uh, Sooner than you may think. Well, you've gone for a Bournemouth win.
Yeah.
Chris has gone for a draw. So ironically, I complete the trifecta because I've just got this annoying feeling that Bournemouth won't take their chances, and then Cole Palmer FC will carry Chelsea on his back and score the only goal of the game. And I've gone Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 1, but I don't feel good about it. If that
No.
makes you feel any better, Bournemouth fans, I'm sorry, it doesn't make me feel good going for it. John has gone 2-1 to Chelsea. Just want to quickly actually say hello to Doug, who is going to be joining me with these going
Oh,
forward after
good.
Dave's step-in show. So, hi Doug. Hope you are well. Hope everybody is well in your family as well, mate. You've gone big for a Villa win. Always like Doug. That's an extra 10 bonus points for Doug. Let me just write that down. Doug bonus points. So Chris isn't here. I can make it as I go along. Doug's gone 4-0.
The right
He,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
He says, evening, guys. En route to Merseyside for the match tomorrow. Oh, mate, have a belting time over there. Must be fantastic to go and see the boys, your boys play. And I hope you stuff them.
Oh, before I said 4-0.
No. Doug, can we just call a hat trick? That'll do. Just 3-0. Just tell them, send the message down, send the aeroplane down from the stands to the manager. Let Arnie Slot know 3's enough.
That sounds like an illness, doesn't it? What's up
Well,
with
it
him?
does.
He's got Arnie
Well,
Slot.
yeah, Arnie Slot. Well, it's a
Yeah.
gamble, isn't it? They've already started using all them ones. Have you heard them puns?
No,
Chris
I haven't.
Chris must have sent the letter into the BBC with a load of jackpot puns because I
Oh,
already heard it. So Liverpool hit the jackpot with Arnie Slot. Oh, tell you. But
no,
yeah,
I haven't.
they went 2-2 on to Chelsea. Anthony went against a team in red. Oh my god. He's gone against a team in red. Shock horror.
That's
He's
not
gone
right, is it?
Chelsea 2-0. I'm going for the 70 squad team to win 3-1, says Ben. No prizes to guess who he's gone there. Craig's joined you though. He's gone Bournemouth 3-2. That'd be a goal fest. I'd love to see that.
Mm.
Desmond 22 says Doug, he's on 2-2 all. And if you thought you were indecisive, Easy Gaming's gone 2-1 either way. Now I don't know who either way are and who they're playing, but he's gone 2-1 either way.
Excellent.
Palmer injured. Oh, then it'd be Nico Jackson. He'll get about 7 offsides and 4 penalties to take, and he'll put one of them away.
Oh.
Doug says, haha, I hope we beat them too. Trust me, mate, you are not alone on here. Most people on this channel will want you to beat them. Speaking of tasty teams, we all know that Anthony's going to go a certain way on this. Obviously, he was going to go for a home win, aren't you, Anthony? It is the big derby. Not as close in contention as it has been over recent years in terms of league positions. Thankfully for Arsenal fans and Anthony alike, they have been the better of the two. But it's the Ange Postecoglou, isn't it? The man who does better in his second season than he does his first, proceeding to not do very well in his second season. It is the North London derby. The North London derby, and it is Tottenham Hotspur, whatever you want to call them, at home to the mighty Arsenal FC. And I still don't get this. Anthony, I'm sure you're probably not one of them, although it wouldn't surprise me if you were. It's got less as the years have gone on, granted this has. But how can there still be people that are outraged and crying when Arteta is offered a new contract? You're talking, get your head out of your rear end if you're thinking that about Arteta, because minus the juggernauts of Manchester City, for the last God knows how many seasons, you've been literally the only team that's stood a glimmer of hope of a chance of beating them to a title. You're talking about a team that's gone, what, 98 Centurions and 97 or something like that? I mean, Liverpool got 97 or 98 points and lost out to them because they got 100, for crying out loud. I don't understand why some people are still crying into their bloody cereal in the morning when Arteta is doing what I consider a fantastic job. It's the North London derby. It's usually cagey. It's usually full of goals. Dave, I still think Arsenal come out on top of this because I do think they're a better side than Spurs at this moment in time.
2-1 to Arsenal.
Seeing it the same. He is seeing it the same. Now then, do you remember about two odd minutes ago, Dave? You said,
oh, he's not, has he?
No, well, just let me draw this out. Come on, Dave, get with the program. Listen to your host. Listen to me. Go with it. Let me run with this. Right. You know how I said to you earlier that on the Chris's 2-2 count, he was at 3. So he'd been going at 1 a game week, and he disappointed me in that last game, predicting 1-1 between Bournemouth and Chelsea. And you said you were ahead on the Desmond count.
Well, I thought so.
Well, you thought wrong, because you are no longer ahead on the Desmond count. I need a buzzer. I need a buzzer to I need a buzzer to do it for him. I'm going to speak to him, see if when he comes back he can get a little sound effect for every time he goes 2-2 to get it played, because he's gone for a Desmond in the North London derby. He's gone Tottenham Hotspur 2, Arsenal 2. So Chris never fails to let us down. It's another one on the 2-2 board. There you go. It's not as classy as I was hoping it would be.
No, it's not very classy at all, is it, really?
No.
Dear.
Let's see what everybody else has gone for in the comment section. Craig's gone 3-1 Arsenal. John's going to be gutted because he's copied Chris's homework and gone for a Desmond himself. I'm going to go for a Spurs shocking last-minute 3-2 win. It's very shocking that you've said Spurs are going to win, let alone last minute. Hello to Jess. She is back in after I put up the right comment. Hello, Jess. She's returned to us. And don't worry, Jess, we do Leicester's predictions last, so the predictions queen for Leicester City predictions can save her decisive score predictions till then. She's gone, Leicester are definitely going to win the league, no doubt about it. I like your thinking, Jess. I mean, if we can do it at 5,000 to 1, why not? Who knows? I mean, points deduction to Man City, Jess. Dave, it's possible, isn't it? Get the wins going now. Get Eduardo scoring 30 goals for us this season. The man who's only scored about 7 is his highest career goals outside of Tick.
He played for Celtic, didn't he, with Rodgers?
I mean,
we nearly bought him. We nearly bought him, didn't we? About 3 years ago.
I mean, we did, but saying you scored a lot of goals for Celtic,
so what? So did Sutton.
Exactly. It's not saying a lot. That's like saying you're beating a 5-year-old in a spelling bee when you're 27. It's not that impressive, really, is it?
It's terrible. I'd forgotten we'd signed him. That's how much I've seen of him. I'd forgotten we signed him.
Well, do you know what interesting is? Go and check out a show me and Chris did discussing the signing of Edouard. I did a statistic. Now, the man we actually signed over Edouard, and Jess is going to kill me for this, it's her favourite player, was Daka. We chose to sign Daka over Edouard. He was a couple of years younger. He had more promise. So we signed him over Edouard. Do you know... did you know this, Dave? I'm sure you didn't, unless you know the stats. Granted, last season Daka was a Championship player, not a Premier League player. Don't lie, Jess. We all know he is. Danny Ward as well is her favourite player as well, folks. Can't believe this one. He definitely is. She's going to kill me. But he has scored the same amount of goals in the Premier League and overall as Edouard. Daka has scored the same amount of goals and has actually, if you took the 2 Premier League seasons they were together, he has contributed more goals and assists than Edouard. So not by much, admittedly, but we still made the better decision to sign him than Edouard. And of course, it all comes full circle. Now we have them both, Dave. So who knows if we can get them both?
Wright and Bright, Mark Bright for us was a nightmare.
Well, very true. He was. He wasn't very bright either, was he?
No, but we went to Palace and did the business. So you never know, do you?
True. You never know.
You never know.
Jess says, sorry, I came in and thought you were discussing who was going to win the whole league because you were talking about Arsenal. How did you confuse winning the league and Arsenal, Jess? Come on. I mean, I could understand it if we'd have been talking about a good team, but talking about Arsenal winning the league, something that isn't a pre-season cup.
Who won it last? Was it Leicester or Arsenal?
Leicester.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
No Rice, Odegaard, and crutches. Here we go. Excuse FM. Here they come. Here he comes. No Rice, Odegaard, or crutches. Our left back injured. So we're getting the excuse.
It's a nightmare, isn't it? Still good enough to beat Spurs.
Edouard may have a new lease of life with us. You never know. Well, I'm hoping so, John. I always say this, whether I like them or not. My opinions on them to a side. When they wear the Leicester City shirt and they're on the pitch, minus a few individuals that I don't like now, but even then, when they were at the club, at least, I always want them to do well.
Yeah.
And look, she's getting too defensive now, isn't it? Lies and slander. We all know it, Jess. It's okay. You can admit it. Daka and Ward are your favourites.
What about Daniel Amati? I bet she likes him as well, isn't she?
Now, don't you start on that one because I'll start throwing bounties at you about that. You know that one. Don't start you on the bounty.
I want to know who's still got his shirt with the name on the back. I mean, that was a classic. That was
classic.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming Easy was typing too quick. I can't speak for typos. I'm the worst with them.
Some players work better in different teams. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and he could do. Yeah. He could suit us out. Anthony, minus 50 points for this. We're gonna call it the Man City fine. Minus 50. Anthony, I tell you what, Anthony, you're having a bad season, mate. You're dropping points like nobody's.
He's in the championship, and we haven't got a championship.
I know, right? I've condoned him to the conference. He can be in his own league. He can come third in a 2-horse race. He can know how his arch rivals feel. But anyway, Desmond 2-2. We're not at that game yet, Craig. So get ready to put it in next because
Oh,
there's one
is
more
it?
game before
Is
the
it?
Desmond.
Yeah.
It's well, it's a good old battle, isn't it? It is Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Newcastle United. Now, Wolves themselves have had a pretty tough start, and they're feeling very charitable when they didn't turn up for the second half against Chelsea, losing that one 6-2.
That was very bizarre, wasn't it?
It was so bizarre. I mean, I could understand if they were 4-0 down at half time and then had a 2-2 game in the second half, but being 2-0, 2-2 in the second half and going into it, it's like they just forgot there was a second half to play against
Yeah,
Chelsea. Having said that, they have been doing okay considering who they've been playing. They certainly haven't looked like a team that's going to lose 6-2 too many times this season. I'm sure my dad's hoping that being a Wolves fan.
mm,
And Newcastle, now, Dave, I give a lot of praise to Eddie Howe, and I do think he's a very good manager, and I think he can take several teams up into the top 10 of the Premier League. I reckon he could do that with anyone like Brighton,
yeah,
Brentford, even
yeah.
Leicester. I think he could come in and do that for it. But the biggest fear with Newcastle was eventually he was going to hit the glass ceiling. There's only so far he could take them. Now, I
Mm,
know he got them into Champions League football, but as we've seen throughout history, Dave, you normally need a very experienced manager in European football to maintain that push for European football, to
yeah,
maintain a squad. And eventually the Saudis are going to get owners are going to get restless. They're going to become like Manchester City. They're going to want trophies. They're going to want success. It's okay for the first 2, 3, maybe even up to 5 years to not bring any in, but is this the potential season where we see Newcastle stutter and in turn their owners lose patience with Eddie Howe? Because they were very, very fortunate to come away with a draw against Bournemouth before the
mm.
international break. Wolves are at home. They're a tricky opposition, despite that Chelsea result. Uh, Do you see not an upset, but do you see the writing on the wall for Newcastle starting, or do Newcastle have enough to power through this season and get a result
Well,
out of?
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've gone for a draw, but I think I've probably got too many goals there because Newcastle have won 2 games and drawn one, have they? Or lost
They
one,
they
two, and
beat Southampton 1-0.
they
Admittedly, they
did,
did
yeah,
it with 10 men.
yeah. But they've
Um,
they've only scored 4 goals or something, not many goals anyway
Not
in
many
winning.
goals, but they drew 1-1 with Bournemouth, didn't they? And would
So,
have
so I
lost it.
yeah, that's right. So I originally put 2-2, but that was only because I want to beat Chris on the Desmonds. But I think I'm going for 1-1.
You're a smart man, just because you don't get any points for beating Chris with Desmond's. Otherwise,
I
we'd all
know.
stop sitting 2-2s. You see.
Well, we don't get prizes.
Well, you never know. Chris, however, hasn't gone for a draw, but you have copied me. I have gone 1-1. I can see Newcastle. I can see Wolves actually, should I be saying, getting something from this game.
Yeah,
And John makes a point here. We'll answer this before we go through everybody else's predictions. He says, IFA waiting for Howe to get sacked before installing him. I mean, you wouldn't. Ideally, you'd want to take him from Newcastle whilst he's in some form of form. I don't think you'd want a manager taking over when he's on a torrid run of form. I don't see that happening with Newcastle, but maybe if Newcastle start to think, well, we need to be looking elsewhere, we need a stronger manager to maintain our European ambitions, we're going to let you go. The FA would in turn hire him, and I'd be happy with him being England manager. My only fear is, would he be another Southgate in the sense of a yes man. Not his style of play, but in a sense of
But
being
that's
a
the only
yes.
person that will get the job anyway. I mean, that's not
Wow,
changed over 50 years when Cloughy should have got the job. And they gave it to
that's
bloody Don Howe or somebody. I can't remember who it was now who got it instead. But, there was it was black and white. Brian Clough should have been the England manager. He
yeah,
was a
very
he
true.
was a winner. He was a winner both in Europe and domestically. But
Yeah,
he was never going to get the job. And I don't know about Eddie Howe, whether he's good enough for the England job. But then I don't know anybody else that is,
very true.
because
Yeah,
they're all
hey
scared of the
man.
players. They're all scared of the players. Else, why would Harry Kane still be playing after
Wow,
the
there is that.
tournament?
There is.
Okay, he scored two the last week or whenever it was, but I reckon
It's
I
you,
could have done.
do you know what it is? It's because we care more about our image than we do actual outcomes. I mean, we care more
Mm,
about being able to sit there at the dinner table with all these bigger clubs and going, yeah, well, our guy scored this amount of goals. He's the most goal scorers in
mm.
all of international football. Oh, well,
But
we'll show us your World Cups and
yeah, I would
European.
say he's one for goal, hasn't he? Really? I
Hmm.
mean, how good is that?
Yeah, like Craig says, guys, if you could all like and share the video, and obviously, if you are new, please do hit that subscribe button and go and follow us on all our social medias. The links are in the description down below. Let's just go through a few. A few score predictions. Let me just. Oh, I've gone too far up there.
Oh,
Um, that's what he said. Oh no! Well, you can have to put that in again anyway. Anti's gone 2-1 Newcastle. 2-1 says Ben to Newcastle.
interesting.
Go for Newcastle win for John. 2-1 seems a popular scoreline. Q Desmond from Easy saying 2-2. Newcastle will win 1-0, says Craig. And the joys of a touchpad mouse and not a keyboard. Well, we've seen that one by John. Newcastle beat Tottenham 2-1 last game. Yes, they did. Sorry, I meant the game before was the Bournemouth one. So they've scored, they've scored 2, 3. They have scored 4 goals. You got it,
Yeah.
quite on. Mayan, I've already said hi to you, but hello again. And your dad, of course, who you do your channel with. Great to see. Great Leicester channel as well. So go and check that out, guys. At least he would sing our national anthem. Very true, John. So Bobby Robson got it. Yeah, but there's what I think, what Dave's point is, we've missed out on some great managers just because they wouldn't put their
Mm.
testicles, if you will, in the FA's person and let them deal with it.
I mean,
Alex,
Sir Bobby was an FA person anyway.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
a wonderful guy, lovely guy.
of course, yes,
Um, Keegan was probably one that. Ironic, Newcastle have 3 England managers, wasn't it? But Keegan was probably the only one that we got close to that had a mind of his own, and that didn't go well.
yeah. But we
Um,
turned, and people can say what they like about him being Scottish and the other one being French, but we turned away Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger. That was the right one. That for me was, I was like, well, I'm fed up now.
yeah,
I'm fed up of us being linked with all these good managers taking over our national side, because it's ultimately not going to matter.
we picked a Swede and an Italian, not a
Yeah,
Scot and a Frenchman. It don't make sense, does it? I mean,
yeah, and yet some people, as
I,
much as I'd love it to happen, and it could happen. Well, it could. I mean, here's one for you: Man City get deducted,
mm,
60, 70 points in December, January time or whatever. Do we take the Catalonian? Because people say, oh, well, he'll want to manage Spain. Well, he's Catalonian, and they obviously want their own independence. So maybe,
Jurgen's around still, isn't he?
well, yeah, and he would have had a break from football.
He knows
But
England, knows the players.
you know what they say, Dave? Best time to introduce the best game of the weekend is to follow on what you said about Jurgen having a break, and we will be talking what is still a big game for Leicester. We'll be talking Crystal Palace Leicester right after this.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV.
For all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
For the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
The TalkSport Fan Network is the ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts,
including Leicester Till I Die, independent analysis and reaction for the Foxes faithful.
The TalkSport Fan Network.
Unbeatable club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Follow the podcast on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Yes, there you go. That is all our fellow Foxes doing videos for us there. And of course, do exactly what they said. And of course, thank you to TalkSport, the Fan Network, which is where you can find us located on your podcast platforms, as well as any of your other favourite podcast platforms, if you wish to listen to us back after this is all uploaded. And we are here. The final game, save the best till last, as they say. It is Crystal Palace hosting the mighty Foxes. Now, we've seen lots and lots of Jamie Vardy shithousery, as the expression is, over this one. Most famously, one of the spread eagle ones a few seasons ago when he scored past them. And Dave, as we know with a Leicester game, just in case you are wondering, thinking, oh, I wonder if Brad's hosting the prediction show, but what does this mean for the watch along? Will there not be one for several weeks? Have no fear, guys. If you want to see this being discussed more in depth and a look at the team that we'll be putting out tomorrow afternoon, don't worry, I've got you covered. I'm the host with the most, well, the only one that's in the United Kingdom and able to do it, but still, the host with the most. I will be bringing your watch along at the new scheduled time of 2:30 because I have work. I have to get home, get myself changed, ready, eat something, and be prepared for you guys. But don't worry, watch alongs are still going along, and we will be watching along. See what I did there? Awful. I won't ever do it again. I'm sorry. Palace Leicester game. We said this backstage, Chris. I've done it again. Dave. You know what's going to happen, Dave? I'll finally say your name right, and you know what will happen. Chris will come back, and I'll call him Dave. You know it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Palace versus Leicester.
John.
We talked about this Yes, my name's Steve. Thanks very much. We talked about this backstage. Premier League champions, a few teams can sing that, but PSR champions, you'll never sing that. We have got probably our only victory technically this season, you could argue, but our biggest victory so far this season. This has to then, though, be the push-on point. Surely Steve Cooper, who I swear to God, if he plays Jordan Ayew out on the left, I'm going to have a little cry in the corner off camera somewhere. But because he's a striker, nothing against Jordan Ayew, he's not a
he's not a left winger.
He's not a left winger. Plus, he's like 406 years old. So he shouldn't be trying to run down a wing. That's Mavridi's job. But surely, you have to take this momentum. You have to take this and milk it as for all it is and really motivate the players to go, hey, look, we haven't got an excuse now. We can do this. We can turn around and really have a really good go at staying up this season, because before all this, Dave, it was probably probably seen as a free hit this season. Go down swinging. We're probably, going to need to try and get 50 points to stay up. So it's not going to be that likely that we're going to do that. Come back up next season. No charges, no points deduction. Have a, second crack at the whip as it is. Do better that time. But is this now more of a must-win game than it was before the PSR victory for Leicester City? Or is this a case of actually there's not such an urgency to definitely get 3 points from this fixture? considering we have got the likes of Everton and Southampton to follow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I've always thought we'd be okay. I never really thought about points deductions, not because I knew anything that nobody else did, but I just thought we'd still be okay. I thought we'd, have the power to do it because adversity and all that sort of stuff. And I think we're good enough as a team. We're not like obviously as good as we were 2 or 3 years ago, but we're getting there. He's made some good signings, and I fancy us, but I don't fancy us in this game because it's at Palace, and we've got almost
The
identical
indecision
records.
continues, ladies and gentlemen. The indecision continues.
Well, the point is, we've got an almost identical record in the league so far, albeit 3 games. We've scored 1 more goal, but I think Palace are a decent side. They've just not started very well. But I think it'll be Desmond, which I've said before anyway. Didn't I? I've got to stick to that now. It saves you
No,
changing.
you don't have to. I've got the hours to change it. You can change your mind if you want.
I don't think I've ever seen a draw. I don't think I've ever seen a draw at Palace from memory. I think we've either lost 2-1 or 1-2.
The last time I can remember us having a draw, and this will throw you down memory lane. Was it not the game when we ended up having to put Theo Zagorakis in goal? We drew something like 3-3, or did we lose that one 3-0? I don't know. It's a very good question.
I just seem to remember coming out of Selhurst Park, apart from that last time, feeling pretty upset. So I can't really. We're not great there. We're not great there. But I think this time we will get a draw. 2-2. Yeah, I'll stick with that.
You've gone for a Desmond. Well, Chris is the optimistic one out of us lot. He has gone 2-0 to Leicester, and after all that bashing and slandering and saying where's the optimism, I've gone 1-0. What? I didn't say that out loud, did I? No, never said such a bad thing. Let's see what everybody's gone for. It didn't change for Craig. He stood by his guns. He has reposted. He's gone 2-2.
Got it, Craig. Yeah.
Ben's gone. I'm hoping we get the win tomorrow, but I'm going realistic right now. Gone for a 1-1 draw. John has agreed. He's gone for a 1-1 draw. So we all blame Dave if it's 2-2. And we don't get any points. Even Jess has gone for a 1-1 draw. Chris messaged me saying, "Oh God, Brad's doing a watch long." Well, he must have amnesia or something because he's the one in charge and told me to do it. So he best get on the phone. He best use them US dollar, them Aussie dollars up well and ring me and tell me not to do it.
Tell him he should be in bed.
He should be. He should
Bloody
be.
hell.
Jess says she'd be happy with a draw. I mean, I wouldn't be as concerned about a draw, especially away from home, and actually as well, given Steve Cooper's abysmal away record with Forest, despite keeping them up. Wouldn't be a bad one. Before we knew the outcome of PSR, I was like, we need 6 points out of 6. I still feel we need 4 because you don't want to get too resting on your laurels that Ipswich, Southampton, and Everton are going to lose all week to keep you in there. Yeah, John as well. Get Caboose Caboose, because I call him, that's his name, and get Buenete on and have Winks in that DM role or Ndidi in his funny enough natural position of a DM role, and I think we'll do a lot better. And Mavadidi on the wing.
Although, why is he not picking Mavadidi?
I don't know what that man's doing wrong because he got the assist against Tottenham, didn't he? And although he didn't get gifted the assist because that was technically Ndidi's header down, it's his running and his cross into the box that gives us the way back into the Villa game. Obviously, we didn't get a point from that, but he's surely got to start. Jess, as long as he's playing up front. Although saying that, we went to the Tranmere game and we saw him score ping one in from the left against Tranmere. If he scores goals like that, he can score a hat trick against Crystal Palace for all I care. Sadly, the 7-goal a season man Edouard obviously can't play against his former club, so we're going to have to wait until Everton to see one of his 7 goals he'll score for us this season. John says here, EFL and Premier League out to get us after failed points deduction. They can't do anything though. That's the thing.
Well,
EFL can't do anything. But EFL can't do anything until we are relegated.
No, but the Premier League can, and they've
Premier
already
League
charged.
But they have to wait to the end of our close of play books this season. And I'm sorry, I just don't see where.
Yeah, you're right. I don't mean on that sort of thing, but I mean on other things, like keeping your players in order and doing all this, and they're just.
We'll see with some dodgy VAR decisions if we get any our way, but
who knows?
Time will tell, won't it? Anthony says, "Brother, I'm playing Football Manager 2024. I'm Leicester. I've got promoted from the Championship and finished 8th in the Prem. Should I take the offer? Should I take the job after Cooper sack? Thoughts? That's impressive, mate. However, funny you should say that. I'm on a different save at the moment, but I'm also playing Football Manager 2024. I've just won Leicester the quadruple for back-to-back seasons. So maybe put yourself behind me in the rankings for it. I'll bring you in as an assistant, Anthony. How does that sound for you? Where did I get to the comments? At least we have IU. He used to scoring for us. Well, like we was told by Richard from Eagle Eyed Football, Jordan Ayew will be a nuisance. And I said, well, I knew that. But what he meant was he'll be a nuisance for the opposition. He'll hold up the ball, he'll hold on to the ball, and he'll draw out fouls and win us free kicks in dangerous areas. 5 seconds into his debut, when he came on, that's what he did against Fulham. So, proof's in the pudding. And Anthony's finished it with a Desmond. And with that, we are going to end things here. It's been a wonderful show. It's been Return of the Dave. See, I got your name right there eventually. See, that's Chris, that is. Do you remember when you had to hold up the sign for Harry because he kept calling you that? Well, I thought I'd roll back the years for you. Dave, you are obviously part of Surrey Hills Radio. You were without your morning DJ at the moment. But do tell people again, for those that didn't see it from the start, where they can find you and tell us all about Surrey Hills Radio.
Well, it's an independent community radio, surreyhillsradio.co.uk. You can listen live. Tonight there's a bit of 80s club music going on, or you can catch it again on Mixcloud and go to Surrey Hills Community Radio, and you won't be disappointed.
There you go. The man has spoken. Do check that out if you like your radio first thing in the morning. You'll get less profanity now. There's a certain Chris in Australia as well, and Dave won't be having out palpitations wondering about his radio station. So yeah, surreyhillsradio.co.uk or .com?
.co.uk, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was right the first time. Trust me on instincts. There you go. Dave, you'll obviously get added into the Predictions League.
Yeah. I'll send them in from Australia.
Wow, yeah, you'll have to, mate. Just do what Chris did, mate. Send them me in blockades for however long you're away so your fixtures won't get missed. Chris has done it. Chris has done it.
Yeah.
Well, if not, that's no worries.
I'll do it. Yeah. All right, pal. Nice to see you anyway.
Yeah, and you, mate. It was good doing
and
the show.
And everybody else. Take care, guys.
Yeah, take care, Dave. See you later. And he's gone. He's turned around now with that sudden look upon his face. That was Dave. He is back. It's always lovely to see Dave back on this channel. And hopefully we're seeing you guys back on this channel at 2:30 tomorrow. Yes, I will be here. Just because Chris doesn't mean, the show ends. The show must go on. Join me at 2:30 tomorrow for the watch along as we hope to see the Eagles get mauled by the Foxes at Selhurst Park. But until next time, it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from you lot, isn't it? It's not the same without Chris, is it? See you later, guys. Take care.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.